Very wise, little ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once more to Murgo's beard.
Well, that was a pain in the Harris. Apologies for the wait, all. I'm finally back online. If only moving house was as easy as touching a signpost, eh? That's enough real-world talk. It's time for more Albion. Blessed we are to receive a whole 50 seconds of pre-alpha gameplay. I say gameplay because at least 20 of those seconds are environmental shots with no player interaction at all. That's not a complaint, however, as these shots have treated us with wondrous new angles confirming certain locations, and an absolute unbelievable discovery that may or may not turn out to be hope-filled foolishness. Even still, the footage is unfortunately only available in 1080p, as opposed to the previous trailers which were 4K, and so finding tiny details proved to be rather difficult this time around. Please bear with any blurry zoomifications, and I suppose you'll just have to believe me if I tell you what a certain blob actually is. Anyhow, I realized only too late that I forgot to do that thing that YouTubers do where you link your previous videos for clicks. And so, hello any and all new people. If you want to enjoy this video to its fullest, I suggest you watch my original breakdown here, and the follow-up video here. Although unnecessary, it's highly worth your time. What's that?
Introducing Albion's greatest weather reporter.
He insisted on taking a more direct role in this one, so he's going to be your emotional cue card. If you're ever unsure what you should be feeling, give Murgo a glance, and he'll sort you out. It was taking far too long for me to decide on an interesting, well-flowing structure for this video, and so in the end I thought, let's just take the alpha footage one scene at a time, and we'll rear off road when necessary. The link to the alpha footage is, of course, in the description, and so without further ado, go on then, Dave.
Let's do it.
Back to Bowerlake we go. This shot pans a new angle of the same road our character walks through in the Humphrey trailer here. I mentioned this in my first video, but Playground is keeping a lot of this game close to their chests. That has been solidified to me in this alpha footage, as like here, almost all the scenes we see are simply new angles of places we've already seen in the previous trailers. I see two logical reasons for this. The optimistic reason is Playground are min-maxing, showing us the maximum amount of content and the minimum amount of actual game, so we can all experience higher levels of wonder and amazement upon release. The pessimistic reason is they're being forced to show something, but the game is nowhere even close to being finished, and this is literally everything they have that isn't unpolished tripe. And I think you know which one I want to believe. Next, new content, finally. Here is a dark and dirty back alley of Bowerstone. I'm going to assume this is a similar situation to giving Arthur the arrest warrants instead of Derek, and refer to this new area as Old Town. There are 4 NPCs here, and none of them are behaving like NPCs we've seen before. One slouched on the cold, wet floor, possibly without a home to return to. One's full of swag, leaning against this wall and giving us a "get out of here" kind of hand sign. And most interesting of all is here in the center. What looks like a drunk practicing his shadow karate is actually, possibly still a drunk, kicking a possibly even larger drunk on the ground here. Madness, I say. Golly gosh, I'm so excited to see how Bowerstone's districts are connected in a world without loading screens. The next panning shot is one of Oakfield, but this is rather juicy. So before all that, let's skip ahead and go to the next shot back in Bowerstone. The third and final piece I needed. We've seen this area twice before in the Humphrey trailer, here and here. The statue, the yellow building, the blue flags, the notice board, the benches, the patterns on the wall, they're all the same. Just look at it in this shot. And come on, surely I don't have to spend a lot of time proving this is the same roof, right? We can quite literally layer it on top of this scene. Now, do notice some of the chimneys change, but don't be alarmed. I reckon this is just polish between versions. I know house customization is a feature from previous titles, but going as far as chimney customization, well, believe what you like, I suppose. Anyhow, this confirms Bowerstone. Fantabulous. So, on to Oakfield. First of all, what a gorgeous shot. Straw roofing, a chicken, flowers in abundance, and our previously deduced Oakfield rhombus patterned windows. Lovely stuff. Looking closer, we finally get identification to what I referred to as the Sandgoose. This is the same sign seen here. As shown by my beautiful mouse work and red pen tool, these two signs are exactly the same, although one seems to be hanging whilst the other one is on a large towering signpost, likely indicating that this is the main entrance to the establishment, whereas this one could be round the back. There's also a bench outside with a customer either eating or drinking, and quite a few people walking in and around the building. Therefore, it's only logical to assume that this is a tavern. So, like I said before, we'll go with the Sandgoose. And, even better yet, this is the same building that the Big Bad Balverine is on here. Just look at this silhouette. The boot fits perfectly. Looking even closer at these two buildings, side by side, we can even make out the notice board under the window here. I think I've made my point. So using this newfound knowledge we have and applying that to the fact that Playground aren't showing us too many new areas, we can piece all angles of Oakfield and the Sandgoose together and then shove our sheriff in the mix, and it makes this nighttime scene another angle from outside the Sandgoose. Now, I think some of you know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe acceptance and repentance are great virtues. So, do you remember this? And with that, in conclusion, it's not the same house. Sorry, hero. Like this, which is the same rhombus windows as we see here in the alpha footage, which places the two patterned windows right behind our sheriff's head here, and therefore means I've been looking at the wrong window this whole time, so I went back one more time to check things over. Absolutely unbelievable. I blundered hard on this one. This is the window in question. We even have similar looking lantern lights here and here, but the window we need is far too out of focus to make an undisputable conclusion from the two trailers alone, making this Oakfield shot another perfect puzzle piece. By confirming this building as the Sandgoose, it would place the sheriff somewhere around here in the nighttime scene. And with that, in conclusion, it's not the same house. It's the same tavern. That, my friend, is what you call a technicality. Sorry, hero. And finally, for this shot, we have our third confirmed landlord sign. What? Who said that? 1 + 1 = 2? Yes, it absolutely bloody does, my friend. And that means we can't just buy houses, but we can buy establishments too, seeing as this sign is outside the Sandgoose. Woo! Isn't that good news, eh? Okay, and another exciting topic next. Since day one, people have been asking, where is it? Show it to me. We'd better have one. What happened to the dog? Our next scene has us walking through Bowerlake approaching our new four-legged friend, and isn't it magnificent? I'm not sure what breed of dog this is, but it is a very equinoid dog. We can even ride it like some kind of large direwolf. Amazing. Our equinoid dog is capable of running at varied speeds, and the scene we run through here is the same scene in which we obliterated those bandits in the Humphrey trailer. There's 3 points of proof to this statement: the cliff here, the tower in the background, and this identical shaped tree. By the way, I noticed some people are calling our new pet a horse. A horse? In Fable? You've gone mad. Not a chance. There's more chance of seeing a giant bloody chicken. We get a closer look at combat, and honestly I like what I see. Here we're fighting a cockatrice, or a mutated rooster. This is not your standard chicken. Chickens don't have long tails. Maybe it's been eating Dave's mutated vegetable seeds. We block once, backstep dodge, double dodge, which looks like it works just as rolling does in The Witcher 3 by pressing the dodge button twice in quick succession. And then we attack with our sword twice. It looks fairly clean. String in some magic and some more enemies and things could get really challenging. On the topic of Dave's influence, doesn't this look like the pumpkin roots here? Perhaps Dave's agricultural advancement is literally taking over Oakfield and the surrounding areas, not just the pumpkin patches, which is more reason why they would call us to sort it out. But more importantly from this scene, just as the Insider reported last year, we aren't using our special hero sword anymore. Except we are. Our character seems to be swinging a large brick hammer, but, just like I spotted the bow transform through magic before, this time I think our sword has become the hammer itself. Again, due to the poor quality, I can't get much detail out of this, but it looks like the handle has a similar wavy pattern to the sword here. The brick part is also nicely decorated. I wouldn't be surprised if a higher resolution shot revealed the guild seal somewhere in its design. But the most important reason for me thinking this is, where even is our sword? Are you telling me that with the attention to detail we've seen so far, if you swap weapons in this game, we just forget to sheathe our sword and instead pop one weapon into our magical TARDIS satchel and pull out a second one, all whilst leaving an empty scabbard on our back? How does that make any sense at all? And then what happens when we're done with the hammer? Do we just put it back into the satchel, re-pull out our sword, and then resheath? That's just wrong, people. It's pure filth, I tell you. Fable isn't exactly afraid of this either. In Fable 3, your weapon transformed as you used it, so it's highly believable to have magical transforming weapons. By the way, just look at how much fun our character is having murdering these poor souls. And it's even worse here. Yes, okay, they're hobs. We're not going to talk about whether blasting small innocent former children is evil or not. But just look at this again. There's 3 hobs here, and the front 2 are absolutely postured for a fight. The third, however, is cowering at the back, gripping what looks like a large piece of wood. Could it be firewood? It's certainly far too large to be used as a weapon. This one hob doesn't move an inch as we batter its mates. It's petrified with fear as our character swings the brick hammer behind our head to deliver the faithful blow, hitting all 3 at once and sending them flying. Brutal! We can't see, but there's absolutely no doubt about it. Our character's got a huge grin on her face right now. More attention to detail too. The hammer feels heavy here. Our character uses its weight and momentum to spin and deliver the second blow in a continuous motion. Some games don't do this very well, but Fable, so far, so good. Next, we have a view of this extremely tall bandit fighting us with a great axe. A few things to note here. Firstly, this is Old Town. It's exactly the same area we saw earlier in the alpha footage. And secondly, the block this time staggers our opponent and triggers a slow motion. A few explanations could be as follows. 1. We simply timed it well. 2. Only human enemies can be parried. 3. There's some kind of Sekiro-style posture system and we broke his stance. Or 4. We leveled up before this fight and chose the parry block skill. Whatever the case, it's satisfying. And boom! Fireball! Small thing to notice here, we used our left hand this time, as our sword is in our right hand. Varied animation, more attention to detail. I like it. We get a cutscene before the next combat sequence, and well, it completely destroys what I said here. The other view of a dead Balverine in this cave is probably a separate quest altogether. We now have a reason as to why the big bad Balverine and Sheriff are in this cave, and it also means this isn't a separate Balverine after all. We even see the gate behind our character here. Though I'm still confused as to why the Sheriff starts sitting down in the Humphrey trailer. Perhaps he plans to finish off the bangers. Check it out though, this cutscene moves seamlessly into combat, and my lord the big bad Balverine looks fierce. Wow! I was a little scared of walking through Westcliff when I first played Fable 2 as a young lad, because I knew a Balverine would jump from the trees on me at some point. If this isn't the only Balverine running around Playgrounds Albion, then my goodness, the level of jump scares these beasts are capable of is off the charts. This footage also confirms the big bad Balverine as a white Balverine. Using the lore from previous games, white Balverines are actually humans that were bitten and transformed. They're larger, faster, and stronger than a regular Balverine. The question is it simply a missing villager? Or is it Whisper 2? Same stuff with the combat. Block, dodge. Notice that even though we block well both times, there's no stagger or slow-mo. Again, does that only appear on human enemies? The mutated rooster earlier didn't stagger either. I thought maybe it's a weight and size thing, but the bandit here is about 12 foot tall, and a great axe isn't exactly light, is it? So, who knows? And then, once again, chicken kicking. They really nailed the animation too. There's no huge clipping into the leg or anything like that. That happens a lot in recent gaming, so I'm happy to see that Fable's doing a good job. I skipped it for transitional purposes, but before the combat stuff, there's a cave entrance. My guess is it's either a random hob cave, or another entrance to this tower as it comes up right after we ride towards it on our dog. Not much else to go on, really. The original teaser trailer featured a fairy, and in multiple places throughout this alpha footage, we see floating lights. If they aren't fairies, then I thought they could possibly be either the XP orbs or like our new breadcrumb trail, guiding us through quests like the previous titles. It's certainly more appealing than yellow trees, eh? Alright, crazy theory time. World progression. Now, these could all be nothing more than simple model renewals from earlier versions of the game, but that's no fun, and it's my job to play with possibilities. So, look at these changes. The tower in the background here is either rebuilt or reversely destroyed, depending on which clip chronologically came first. The roof of the Sandgoose has much more greenery on it this time around, especially the chimney, when compared to the scene with the big bad Balverine. And going even deeper, now, I'm not a perspective scientist, but in order to get this shot here, I recreated it with Murgo as best as I could, our character gets placed somewhere around here, which doesn't quite add up. This position places our character right inside this smaller house here, which means I've either completely fudged up the scale of things, or this house wasn't there to begin with, and as time passed and the vines around the Sandgoose grew, new buildings were built in town. How about that? And wait just a burger flipping second here, but doesn't this look exactly like recycled NPC 2? Same clothes, same build, the only difference, he's more grey-haired now. Perhaps he's aged terribly, or perhaps it's just a different NPC altogether. Again, believe what you will. So there we have it. 50 seconds of footage turned into 15 minutes. Aren't you glad you tuned in for that? Yes, let's address the elephant in the room. This footage came with the news of a 2026 delay. I have mixed feelings, of course, but overall, I'm okay with it. I feel like after waiting for 15 years, what's one more, eh? Hell, even round it up and make it 20. No, wait, don't. That was a joke. On the bright side, it gives me a bit more time to work on my Murgo model. Maybe we'll be VTubing after all. Oh gods. Thank you again for your patience and your support. Whilst I don't always reply to every comment, I do read them all, and I'm eternally grateful to each and every one of you. Fingers crossed we receive some more content soon, and rest assured, when we do, I'll be on it like a Balverine after some bangers. But once again, that's enough from me. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one.